Today we have a 2010 Subaru Outback with the 3.6 liter engine, and we are going to be doing the oil change service. Welcome back to the Moose Mobile Auto Repair channel, and so let's get started now on the oil change. So the first thing I would like to do is to briefly have a quick look at the oil level, just to see on where the engine is at. So I have a clean rag so I don't contaminate the dipstick. So the oil level is just a tiny bit low, but it's not too much. It's roughly 3/4. That's not too big of a big deal. This engine is burning a tiny bit of oil between oil changes, so it's always a good idea to make sure that you are checking your oil periodically, so that the engine doesn't run low on oil. So anyhow, we're just going to take the dipstick out and the oil cap off, and then we are going to raise the vehicle now.
I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who...
So now we are underneath the vehicle. So this oil pan has been replaced with an aftermarket one, and so the drain plug size is not the same size as the original. So the original is going to be a 17 millimeter drain plug. The aftermarket one here is a 22 millimeter. So you just need to watch out for that. So I'm going to remove the drain plug now to drain the oil. You want to make sure that you have a drain pan that's ready, so you're able to catch the oil. On the Subarus, you have to be extremely careful because the oil drains pretty fast, and so it's very easy to get splashed. So you need to be careful. I'm holding the drain pan at the moment as it's draining, but as soon as you have a majority of the oil drained out, then you can leave the drain pan on the floor after that. So I'm going to be replacing the drain gasket with the new one. The old one is right here, and here's the new one. The part number for the drain gasket is 2156. It's an aftermarket gasket that I use for Subaru vehicles. So I will put the part number and the torque spec of the drain plug on the screen for you guys to see. Pretty much all of the oil has drained out now, so I'm just going to close it up. And I was going to say that it's not too big of a deal if you want to get your engine warmed up and to get the oil hot before you drain it. So it doesn't have to be like hot or cold or whatever. It's probably best to get the engine to operating temperature before you drain the oil out, so you're able to get the contaminants out of the engine, but it's not entirely necessary. But this customer just came off the highway, and so now I'm servicing the vehicle. I'm just going to close the drain plug up now. And once again, this is a 22 millimeter. Now on your Subaru, it's most likely going to be a 17. So I will put the torque spec on the screen for you guys to see. You just need to tighten this up snug. Doesn't need to be extremely tight. Or if you want to torque it, you can use a torque wrench to torque it. So I'm just going to wash down the area with brake cleaner. And so now we are going to remove the oil filter, the oil filter. I just have a 3/8 ratchet and an oil filter removal tool. There's a little bit of an oil leak here on the housing, but we are not going to worry about it in this video because we're just doing the oil change. We're just going to place the tool over the filter and remove counterclockwise. And then after the oil is done draining from the housing, you can just give the housing a quick wipe on the surface. Or you can just give the surface a quick wipe around there just to make sure it's clean before you install the new oil filter. So I have the new oil filter here. I'm using a Purelator 4615 oil filter. These are specifically for Subaru vehicles. Now this is aftermarket, but I've been using these for many years and I haven't had a problem. So if you want to use this, or if you want to use the Subaru genuine stuff, that's no problem. But I usually keep these in stock, so I'm just going to use this. So just make sure you get some new oil to lubricate the gasket, and then you can install it onto the engine. Now it's not necessary to pre-fill the oil, but I'm not going to be discussing about that in detail at the moment. So So we are just going to install the filter now. Just keep on spinning on the filter until it's tight, snug, hand tight, and you should be fine after that. And then we are going to wash off the area with brake cleaner. You don't need to pre-fill an oil filter these days because it only takes like not even a couple seconds on engine startup to fill the oil filter. So doing all of that is not necessary. I forgot to mention that you want to make sure that the old gasket is still on the old oil filter and that it's not stuck on the engine. So now we are going to fill the engine up with engine oil. This vehicle takes 5W30. So the customer just wanted the regular conventional oil. So we are going to put that. This vehicle takes roughly 7 to 8 liters. I will put the specifications on the screen, and the amount of engine oil is going to vary depending on the conditions. So it's not always going to be the same thing every time. So, but this takes anywhere from 7 to 8 liters. So it's going to vary. So we will put probably like 7 liters first, and then after we are going to bring the vehicle down on the floor and to start the engine up, and then we'll have a look at the oil level then. So I put in 8 liters. I'm just going to clean the oil cap. And the seal here is all mushed. Now usually it's probably a good idea to replace the seal here because it's possible for the vapors to escape from here. So it's possible that it can cause a little bit of a vacuum leak with time. So it will just is going to interfere with the PCV system. So I do know that nobody replaces this, but it's usually a good idea to replace this or the entire oil cap just to be on the safe side. But the vehicle otherwise drives fine. So it's not that big of a deal. The same for the O-rings on the dipstick. They wear out with time, and sometimes they go missing. So that can cause problems on some vehicles. So I'm just going to wipe the dipstick clean. Reinsert the dipstick.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella shit.
So now we're just going to start the engine up. So the engine is running now. We are probably going to let the engine run for a bit, maybe half a minute or so, or whatever, so we can get an accurate reading on the dipstick. Now I do know that a bunch of warning lights are on, so we are not going to worry about that. It's a separate issue on this vehicle, so we are not going to be discussing about it today. So we are going to shut the engine off. So now we are going to check the oil level. Make sure it's at the full mark, and we are just about at the full mark here. I probably have to use a blue shop towel so I can show you guys better on camera. So if you look over here, you have the bottom dot or circle, and you have the top dot or circle, the full mark. So it should be here. This is just something else that's on top here. I'm not too sure on what that is, but we are going to focus over here. We want to make sure that the oil level is at the full mark. Anything above this line or above the dot, then it would mean that it's overfilled. So we're going to have a look at it again. We are perfect, exactly on the upper mark, or on the full mark, on where it should be. I put 8 liters in here, so that's exactly on where I want to be. Now you want to make sure that you are parked somewhere where it's close to level ground, or exactly on level ground, so you can get an accurate reading. And one last thing I wanted to mention is to double check everything underneath. Just make sure that the oil filter and the drain plug does not have any oil leaks. So just make sure everything is clean, and then you should be all good to go. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already a subscriber, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day and take care.